Hey everybody, thanks for checking out my video. This is lesson 7, jazz guitar with the Belltower. Today we're going to talk about playing a 2-5-1 in the style of Pat Martino, one of my all-time favorite guitar players. And I thought I'd just show you a cool phrase. And like I say in the lesson, I can't really speak for Pat, but just talk about the way I think about it. Maybe hypothesize about the way he thinks about it. And hopefully you can learn it and then mess with it and make it part of your own playing. Break it down and build it back up so that you could use this as a concept to construct your own 2-5-1 lines. All right, so let's get started. Okay, here we are, lesson 7, 2-5-1 in the style of Pat Martino. What we're going to do today is talk about playing on a 2-5-1 in the key of C, which would mean D minor 7, G7, and C major 7. And I have the volume turned down because I created a play-along vamp. And I'm going to turn up my vamp and play the phrase in real time, and then I'll show it to you note for note. Here it is. D minor 7, G7, C major 7, like that. All right, here's the riff. A couple more times. Okay, so let me show you what's happening here. The phrase begins on string 4, and I'm using my second finger. I'm playing the 11th fret, then the 12th fret on that string. Then I move up to the 3rd string where I play the 9th fret and the 10th fret with my index finger, the 12th fret with my ring finger. My index finger goes to the 2nd string, 10th fret. 3rd finger goes 2nd string, 13th fret. And then my second finger plays 12th fret, 1st string. First finger is 10th fret, 1st string. Second finger goes 11th fret, 1st string. Third finger, 12th fret, 2nd string. 2nd string, 11th fret. 2nd string, 9th fret. 2nd string, 8th fret, and let me just check this out. Yep, okay. And then 3rd finger, 3rd string, 10th fret, 1st finger, 3rd string, 8th fret, and then my second finger on the 9th fret, 4th string, and I believe the resolution here is 3rd string, 7th fret. So and to get the phrasing correct or the rhythm correct, the first note is a pickup. So that note is on the and of 4 to the measure that has the downbeat of D minor 7. In other words, the chord progression would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Does that make sense? So this note is kind of an anticipation. And again, that's pretty common jazz phrasing, is to not start on a downbeat, is to play a pickup. Okay, so I can't really speak for Pat, but after transcribing several of his solos, I can tell you the way I look at it, and the way I organize it in my brain is that this part of the phrase belongs to D minor. Okay, so and You know, you could call that melodic minor because it has a natural 7 here. But again, I'm playing the flat 7 there, and that's kind of an old school thing too. Those guys, you know, they didn't necessarily think about things in terms of modes or scales, but just sounds. So, you know, playing C sharp and C natural on one chord is not that uncommon. And the very next note is where the G7 begins. Now, the way I look at this phrase is, or I think for me the easiest way to look at this is that we could say, again, I don't want to speak for Pat, but we could say that what's happening here is that Pat is reharmonizing the chord progression by playing D minor, D flat 13, and just, you know, if you can see my fingers, I'm playing 9th fret 6th string, 9th fret 4th string, 10th fret 3rd string, 11th fret 2nd string. That's a pretty common dominant 7 voicing. It's a 13. The point here is that this chord actually shares the same tritone as G7. If I play G7 sharp 9, it's almost exactly the same chord as D flat 13. Okay? Again, this is a common device, and so what we're doing is, or what I suspect Pat is doing, is by changing out the 5 chord to what a lot of people call tritone substitution. Tritone substitution is just a fancy word for replacing a chord with another chord that has its root a tritone away from the original chord. Original chord is G. Tritone away from that is D flat. So by changing this chord out, it opens up all of our familiar phrases over a straight up dominant 7 chord. In other words, I don't have to think about altered scales or a whole bunch of, anyway, I don't have to think through all the minutia of this is a substitute for that and this is a chord scale for this. All I'm doing is playing this D flat chord, and then I'm going to play the same almost arpeggio-like phrase over this D flat chord, and again, that's where the phrase picks up. So here our D minor riff, and we come right down the D flat chord. This would be the 9th of that chord, flat 7th, 13, 5th, sharp 11, 3rd, 9, flat 7, and then the final note in our phrase is the 9 of C major 7. Okay, so essentially what's happening is we're playing up a D minor 7, down a D flat 13. Right? And of course, you don't have to wait for the rhythm section to play a tritone sub. In fact, on the vamp that I played for you, I played a G9. Okay, so it's not even an altered D7 chord, but it sounds great because even within this non-altered G7 chord, there's a lot of tension and or desire to resolve here. And by playing these altered notes, or by substituting this chord for this, we're just highlighting the tension that's already there in that chord progression, creating a little more tension by playing some notes that don't belong to the chord, and then resolving. All right? Again, you can take that concept and play it in other parts of the guitar neck. I'll just show you quickly. Here's a D minor 7 at the 5th fret. You could outline this D flat going to this C. Right? Again, that's D minor 7. Well, I like to play D minor 9. This is D9. D flat 9. Resolved to C 6/9. There you go. If you have any questions about this lesson, please feel free to go to belltowertrio.com and send me an email and ask. I'd be happy to answer it for you. Or I'm always happy to hear other suggestions about future lesson topics. Okay, thanks again. Good luck.